Hello and welcome back everybody to the Foodbuild factory, where today we're going to take a look at the Cutthroat Berserker. That's the guy you can see on screen right now, and as always I'm going to show you some gameplay in the first part of the video, and in the latter half of the video I'm going to take a closer look at the perks, mutations, equipment and everything you need to know about the character. But just for a quick moment I will show you the perk loadout now, only so you can see if this is something you would probably want to accomplish and if you don't want to watch the whole video. Otherwise, as I just said, we're going to get a closer look at all of this in the latter part of the video. Now, what this character is going to be all about is it's going to be a stealth shotgunner using a Berserker's explosive shotgun, meaning that we're using no damage resistance at all. So we're quite flimsy, but we can make up for that by being in stealth. Now, a notable difference to my other shotgunner builds, so far at least, is that this time we're not using VATS. I mean, we will occasionally use a few shots in VATS, but we're not spec'd into VATS. And usually I am heavily investing into crits with shotguns for the simple reason that they do perform way better in VATS anyways, because all of the projectiles hit, if you hit the target that is. And furthermore, they are quite easy to use in VATS because you can get crits so fast. However, on this occasion we're mainly using free aim, simply because I know that not everyone is a fan of VATS. But we make up for the lack in damage by using stealth. So we're getting more damage from stealth attacks, obviously. And that, combined with the high base damage due to our Berserker's effect and the explosive effect, make for a pretty nice combination. Now, the only problem is when you're facing highly armored targets, because oftentimes high level enemies do have quite a lot of explosive resistance, so the explosions don't do us all that much of a favor. And furthermore, shotguns aren't exactly good for armor penetration, so that can be a problem. However, we do have this nice little trick where we can cripple enemies' limbs very easily and immobilizing them so they can barely move anymore. And once that's done, we can complement our build with grenades. Now, the grenade of choice we're using are Murph grenades, which are very powerful. They don't work like they should, meaning that they should work like a cluster bomb, covering quite a large area. However, that's not what happens. Usually all the single grenades that get out of the single grenade you're throwing explode in a very small radius, meaning that they just do more damage on impact, which is quite nice. They can be quite powerful. By the way, I'm a bit wondered why there is no random encounter here. Well, anyways. Alright, here we do have Yaoguai. Yaoguais are terrifying, but they are a good way to show off our grenades. Now here we can see we're doing good damage. Just a few shots to the limbs. Now we could, let's show how well we would do just by shooting an enemy. Yeah, you can see it does work too, no problem. Those springs are quite important to us, by the way. We use them to make frag grenades. Alright, here we have some dead super mutants. Well, what else is to say about the character? A notable downside is that the range of shotguns is very minimal, meaning that you have to get into real close range in order to do proper damage. Okay, level 30 mole rats, that's very suspicious, because since one wasteland there shouldn't be any such low level targets, but well, okay, we're into danger. The server seems to behave a bit strange at the moment. Now this is one of the occasions where VATS is definitely a good idea, simply because mole rats, yeah, they can be a pest to hit. You just stay here until it pops out. Here, one shot, alright. Now, let's hope that today the Deathclaw decides to be here. I know this part is bad to watch on YouTube videos because it's so dark, and the lighting never seems to really work in here. But, well, Alright, there he is. And should be dead, yeah. Easy as that. One reason the Murph grenades do work so well is not only are they powerful as they are, and we're invested into Demolition's expert, furthermore, your throwables do carry your legendary effect of the weapon you're having equipped. So in our case, our explosives, our throwables, get another 50% damage just by us having the Berserker shotgun equipped, which is kind of nice, makes them really powerful. So I know throwables and grenades aren't all that much in demand in this game, but they're very common and they can definitely give you quite an edge in terms of power. So yeah, don't forget about them. It's something that happens to me all the time. I always carry quite a lot and then just don't think about using them. One big problem with grenades in this game is that enemies move quite a lot, so getting a hit is hard, but as I said and shown off earlier, using our Enforcer perk to cripple enemies makes them basically stand still in one spot, and then you can really do damage with your grenades. Now here should be another random encounter, but yeah, it's definitely possible that there's just Brotherhood initiates and such. Alright, we're going to take a look at the Red Rocket Mega Truck Stop. There should be some robots we can fight. Then we do have a few more ghouls, and after that we're going to fast travel to Huntersville in order to kill some super mutants. I just think about what I haven't mentioned. Well, in terms of ammo, I hear that people tend to say it's hard to get plastic for shotgun shells, but I never found that to be a particular problem. If you are having problem with maintaining ammo, the easiest way would probably be to invest one perk point into the Scrapper perk card and just clear out something like West-Tech or so. For laser rifles, carry all the laser rifles with you, equip the Scrapper perk and scrap them down, combined with high intelligence. So yeah, use some Grape Mantids or something, and you should get away with like 200 to 300 plastic pretty easily. That's by far the most efficient way to farm plastic in my opinion. But yeah, that's about it. Now another thing to mention about the character is that, as you can see here, we're wearing just under armor and leg pieces. Now having intact leg pieces, even if you're having, I think it's 50 damage resistance, which is basically nothing, you already miss out on quite a lot of damage from your Berserker's effect. So Berserker's is kind of weird. I mean, if it was like, okay, at a certain threshold, like for example 100 damage resistance, you would do 50% extra damage. That would still be crippling enough in order to make the effect viable and balanced, but yeah, as it stands, either use it without any damage resistance, or you might as well just use another weapon. Alright. Glowing ghouls, they can be a pest, but here we are, immobilize them. Okay, this was a creepy guy. Most of the time, 2 shots will do the trick. You also see the splash damage can help you. Keep him in one spot, where he is. Alright, yeah, he basically won't come down again, and it seems. Now, we're just looking through these giblets in order to find the legendary. Here it is. Yeah, not so impressive. I mean, the AP refresh is nice. Alright, let's do a fast travel. Here we go, Huntersville. Kill some super mutants. Yeah, back to the topic. I'm using 2 leg pieces, however, those are broken. Now, for those of you who don't know, a pretty popular go when it comes to the Berserker's effect is that you're wearing legendary armor in order to get the legendary bonuses, the legendary effects, but you wear them until they are broken, and once they are broken, they don't give you any damage or energy resistance anymore. However, the legendary effects on the equipment still work. Now, one problem with this is that you basically can't do anything in nuke zones, because the moment you throw on a hazmat suit or power armor, your pieces get unequipped and you can re-equip them. So that being said, there's no real reason to go into nuke zones. I always felt like, yeah, avoiding nuke zones is definitely a viable way to play the game. You don't need to go into nuke zones at all, I think. And yeah, as you can see, we're doing great damage. Also, the explosive effect makes it so that our bullets are quite good when it comes to visibility, which has the effect that after a while playing this character, you get a really good feeling on range and spread of your weapon, which definitely helps with playing the game. Now, it's not always all that blatant when you're looking at the crosshairs. They can be kind of off-putting, I'd say. Like, yeah, they can give you a false sense of security when it comes to your spread. Sometimes your bullets still go out of the crosshair. Did we? No, I think there should not be any more enemies here. Another thing is we're not really mutated all that much. We only have 2 mutations that we actually use. But there would definitely be room for more. Like, I can give that away right away. We're using the Speed Demon mutation and Marsupial. Marsupial for the jump, Speed Demon for faster reload. Egghead would be nice simply because we're having low intelligence, so leveling up is quite tedious. Meaning Egghead would give us a little edge here. We don't particularly need strength because we're not using melee weapons, so strength is just there for our carry weight. And another mutation that would be quite good would be Bird Bones, simply because more agility helps you with stealth. We're having awkwardly low agility for a stealth character, however I found it not to be a problem. We're just using 2 pieces of chameleon armor. That's the leg pieces. So if you want a real Berserker, maybe you could get away without using any chameleon pieces just by increasing your agility a little. However, I found this was a sweet spot where we could definitely stay hidden all the time. Our weapon is completely suppressed, so there's no problem on that front. And well, next topic I wanted to mention is condition. Condition on shotguns is kind of bad. They lose condition quite fast, and especially if you're using an explosive version, they degrade twice as fast. We're just using luck of the draw, which procs quite often on shotguns, and basically if you're repairing your weapon to 200% condition, you can go for quite a while. It's not a problem at all. We started this with around 3/4 of condition, and we're already at around like 10 minutes of gameplay, I guess. So yeah, you can see we haven't lost all that much. All right, where they are? Where did he went? Well, let's take out this guy here. As you can see, we mostly need between 2 or 3 shots when we're fighting enemies, which isn't a problem. There's also room for improvement, most notably a follow through. That thing would, if you max it out, legendary perk by the way, that would definitely increase your damage by quite a bit. Alright, there you are. Sometimes you can just take a shot in order to stagger the enemy and avoid him fleeing the scene. But yeah, the utility from shotguns is basically the most important part about them. But if you get one to work in order to do damage, the combination can be really cool. Here we are, yet another Deathclaw. Just stagger her for a bit. This time we're not using grenades. We're just spraying here. And overall, I gotta say, the weapon feels very cool, simply because, yeah, it's an explosive shotgun. You know, pretty much every shooting game should have an explosive shotgun, no matter if it's called Dragon's Breath or whatever. it's always cool to have something like this. You're basically spraying out a complete firestorm, which is definitely cool. The sound effects are nice on a suppressed weapon. I mean, it doesn't make the most sense that you can be very stealthy with this here weapon, but yeah, never mind. As you can see here, our range is not terrible, especially with the explosive effect, because the explosive effect doesn't lose damage over range. So if you're willing to use more shots, I say, you can even use this at a bit more range and just kill enemies with your explosive damage, but you'll need like 6 to 8 shots or something, so it's not particularly worth it. However, it can be kind of nice if you're in a situation where you don't want to actually run up this stairs here, for example. Yeah, you can definitely just do it from the ground and just waste some bullets. But overall, yeah, in mid-range, low to mid-range, you are effective. Now, this is a terrible part here. It's quite terrifying, the entrance of West Tech. Quite a lot of cover for enemies to come from. But on the plus side, you can be stealthy very well. The most dangerous thing here, in my opinion, are the mutant hounds, because they just tend to pop out of nowhere and scare you a little. But also, as you can see here, we're switching between aim down sights and hip fire. None of the options are particularly better than the other one, so it's not like you have to focus on one specific. I gotta say, using grenades can be kind of hilarious when... Oh, hello there. When they just flung enemies around the map. Can be kind of funny. Now, as you can see here, if you compare to other enemies we fought, using VETs does a little bit more damage overall, for the simple reason that, yeah, more of our pellets are hitting the enemy. But it's not groundbreaking, so you can definitely... Alright, we're in danger now. Okay, one quick stim pack, and let's just retweet, and we're immediately back into caution. So that's the how's it called? Escape artist perk. That's very powerful. Basically, if you're getting detected, you just have to back up and you can gain stealth again immediately. Never forget to get these fragmentation grenades here that enemies are dropping. Those are necessary in order to make our Murph grenades, and using fragmentation grenades on their own is way less beneficial than using the Murph grenades. So always keep those and, yeah, basically make Murph grenades out of them. Now, this was everything in terms of gameplay. I hope you enjoyed it. I was quite surprised. Shotguns don't tend to be highly sought after. Yeah, people don't like them all that much, but in my opinion they're great fun. And as long as you're not trying to solo the Scorch-Beast Queen or anything, for day-to-day combat, exploring the world and farming enemies, yeah, you're perfectly fine using those weapons. Now, we're getting into the more interesting, or, well, more interesting, in another interesting topic here, and that is the equipment. First, this is it. Berserker's explosive combat shotgun with hardened receiver, stabilized long barrel, forceful stock, perforating magazine and reflex sight and suppressor. Now, just a quick head note, I mean, hardened receiver is obvious for more damage. Stabilized long barrel, I wanted to have some nice range and recoil, and purposefully didn't use aligned stuff or true stuff, because I always do this when I use VETs, and just for once I wanted to switch up a little bit. The forceful stock, this is very important because this drastically improves your condition bar, so yeah, you should definitely go for that. The perforating magazine, yeah, we want some armor penetration. The reflex sight on this occasion not necessary, but I liked it just so I have a better reference of aiming. And the suppressor is pretty obviously necessary if you're going for a stealth route. Now, these are our fragmentation grenades, the Murph. You see 264 damage. Now, if I was to equip, or yeah, just unequip the Berserker shotgun, we're down to 184 damage, so quite a significant improvement from our Berserker's effect here. The rest I don't use, I just have on this character at the moment. Now these are our two broken pieces. One Chameleon Sentinel, one with weapon weight reduction and perception. The perception we don't really need, and charisma is, yeah, it's charisma, it's not necessary. Quite important here and sad, we can't use shielded harness, because that would give us, while it would give us more agility and help with stealth, it would also give us some damage resistance, which, yeah, sadly we can't afford. And other than that, yeah, we have the mummy mask on, small hazmat suit. Also, don't use backpack modifications that give you damage resistance, obviously. So overall, you can see here we have 50 radiation resistance, but no damage resistance. Now, as far as I know, you could use stuff that gives you energy resistance, mutations and such, because that doesn't influence the Berserker's effect as far as I know. However, I just went for a full Berserker's approach here. Next thing is our mutations. Now we have Marsupial and Speed Demon, as I said earlier. The Mantid's addiction, by the way, is not on purpose, it's just there, and I didn't have an addictal here, but -1 charisma, yeah, fuck that. Twisted Muscles, this obviously would be better if we don't have it. I just had this left over and didn't want to remove all the mutations. So it definitely cripples us a bit when it comes to accuracy on our guns, but we're not using that, so that's not a big problem for us now. But obviously don't use this mutation if you would recreate a similar character. Overall it leaves us with special of 15 in strength, perception 4, endurance 7, charisma 6, intelligence 4, which is kinda low, so definitely Egghead would be a nice addition. Agility 13 is enough. You want as much agility as possible if you go for stealth, but 13 is still high enough. We do have an awful lot of luck, basically for nothing, because we're not using any vets crits, but at least it increases the condition on the weapons we find, so that's something nice. And now we're getting on to the perks. Now in strength we do have 15, we have traveling pharmacy here. I tend to use chems here and there and want to carry a lot of stimpaks. However, this is a complete unnecessary pick. If you don't need it, feel free to use those perk points somewhere else. You could improve some shotgunner things here, because as you see, we do have rank 2 of all the shotgunner perks, simply because I didn't have room and didn't want to upgrade more. Because obviously, if you have room for it, rank 3 of all of those gives you a little bit of extra damage. However, I felt like we're doing fine here to do the video, and there wouldn't be a great point in just upgrading for another 15% damage, which you wouldn't really notice because it's additive and you know the thrill. This is enough for all means. Same with Scattershot. Now, weapon swaying less is nice, but we're just using this one shotgun, so it's not a problem. And the faster reload is nice. However, as long as we're using this combat shotgun, it's not a problem at all. Combined with Speed Demon, we're relatively fast reloading anyway. So yeah, this would be a good point if you wanna. Or let's focus. We do have rank 2 of Bandolier to carry more ammo, which should be under control if you're just using shotgun shells and just carry the ammo you need. However, I tend to just have all the ammo on me, so Bandolier is a nice pick here. And Blocker is just very powerful. If we get detected from melee enemies, having less damage, 45% to be precise, is very, very powerful, especially on a character that has no damage resistance. Yeah, Blocker, this one I would recommend. Now, what I would do if I were to create the character from scratch, I wouldn't use Traveling Pharmacy and instead use rank 3 of the Shotgunner perks, and the rest I would leave as it is. Depending on if you need Bandolier or not, you could use Scattershot rank 3 and not use Bandolier. Perception, this one here is very important. Skeet Shooter. Basically what I did is I started using this character pretty much as it is, without Skeet Shooter, and just leveled up so I can level up Skeet Shooter. And trust me, the difference is like day and night. The extra range you get, or let's say you have less spread on your shotgun, meaning while you're not having more range, particularly, you can still be effective from a bigger range just because you can still hit an enemy multiple times when at a bigger range. So Skeeter is one of the most important perks for a shotgun in my opinion. Now Endurance is at a fairly average 7. Life Giver and Fireproof are a pretty straightforward combination. Fireproof is very important. We don't have any explosive resistance on our character through armor. We don't have damage resistance, and therefore using a explosive weapon, Fireproof is definitely a good pick here. And Life Giver, yeah, just some extra health points, which is nice on a character that's so flimsy. Onto Charisma, same reason as Life Giver. Lone Wanderer is nice here. On this occasion the AP regen is not all that important to us, but the less damage is very nice. And Field Surgeon, if we're getting into danger, you saw that when the super mutants found me. Yeah, having faster Stimpaks is definitely nice. Intelligence, fairly straightforward, level 5, Demolitions Expert. We want to get the most damage out of our weapon with our explosive effect. And also, yeah, as I said, we're using the Murph grenades in order to deal with bigger targets. And yeah, obviously we want to have a lot of damage on those too. Now, onto Agility, rank 2 of Action Boy. It's a filler perk. There wasn't anything else I needed, so yeah, Action Boy is basically every time I have some points left, I use them for Action Boy. We're not so relying on action points on this occasion because we're not using VATS all that much, but having action points is never a bad option. Through Hiker, same as Traveling Pharmacy. If you don't need it, use something else. Good pick would be Adrenaline. Now this is important, Covert Operative, more damage with our sneak attacks. Enforcer I tend to use on rank 1 because it's basically enough. You saw how fast we were crippling enemies. Now if you have a double barrel shotgun, for example, I would go for Enforcer 3 because you can get so much shots in, but with 8 shots in our clip, yeah, you can definitely cripple an enemy within a few shots, so having more ranks of Enforcer obviously would be great, but it's definitely not necessary. That's what I wanted to say. Sneak rank 3 is fairly obvious, the same as Escape Artist. We want to stay detected. We want to stay hidden. Now, if you can make room for it with legendary perks, you want to definitely increase agility to 15, and those 2 extra points you would you would be using an Enforcer or more Action Boy, some Adrenaline. You get the point. And onto Luck, we do have Bloody Mess here for extra damage. Luck of the Draw, this is important to keep our gun running. Class Freak in order to reduce the negative effects from our mutations, which isn't necessary, gotta admit, but it's nice to have. And Star's Genes for having our keeping our mutations and don't getting any new ones. And onto legendary perks now. Ammo Factory at rank 1, fairly straightforward. We do have some here, 2 extra agility from legendary perks and 2 extra perception. What Rats at rank 1, just a convenience here, so we don't have to use Red away all that much. Electric Absorption is a leftover from the time when I'm using this character here with power armor, so that doesn't do anything for us. And this is probably the most important perk for this here character, Follow Through. Ranged sneak attacks do more damage for 10 seconds after hitting a target. This is very important. This makes so our second shot on a target is very way more powerful, and having this all the way up to 40% extra damage, yeah, that would be nice. Now, I hope you enjoyed the build. I mean, I'm obviously sure that there's room for improvement with this build here, but I just wanted to show off something for once, some shotgunner for once that didn't use VETS so heavily. So, thanks for your time, guys. See you later. Bye.